Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Today we have Dr. Anil Kumar Makkapati with us and a brief introduction of Dr. Anil. He has done his bachelor's from Andhra Loyola College, Vijayawada in life sciences, and for master's he studied medical entomology at VCRC Pondicherry. For PhD, he attended IICT Hyderabad and studied public health and vector-borne diseases, joined Bayer Environmental Sciences, and then moved to multiple companies. Before coming to CEO, now he's currently CEO of YashoDhan Consultants. He also served as Global Technical and Business Development Head at Envu, now formerly based, known as Bayer Environmental Sciences. With this brief introduction, I will say thank you so much, Dr. Anil, for taking time out for this conversation.
Thank you, Dr. Raja. And then let me first honestly congratulate the STEM for Society and Empowering Science Foundation for giving the scientists this opportunity of talking about the other side of the science and their personal life, which is very, very important. And definitely, it will inspire the young generation to take up more the science and science project, basically the basic and also the operational sciences. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much
so
for
much.
giving me this opportunity and heartful pranams to everyone.
It is a pleasure to have you, sir, here, and thank you so much for your kind words. The idea of having this series and this conversation is to tell everyone that every single researcher should be celebrated. You have spent so many years, that valuable time should be celebrated. It should be beyond the publications, as you mentioned, that the researchers are also human beings, and we should celebrate their challenges, their accomplishments. So thank you so much. That is what keeps us going also. For
Thank
the
you.
conversation, we always start our conversation with a question: that how and when you decided that you want to become a researcher.
Thank you. This is a very nice question. So, to be very honest, I have this idea of becoming a scientist at the age of 9. Just because that's the time in our family we have few scientists uh, of international reputation now. So these two of my maternal uncles, Professor P.B. Kavikishore, who's one of the world's renowned plant geneticists, who also worked as a head of the Department of Genetics in Osmania University. The other one is Professor Polavar Pratnagiri, who's also an entomologist, but he moved to biochemistry and then he became the head of pharmacology. And he's also became an entrepreneur right now. So these are the two gentlemen who actually motivated to me for me to become a scientist, to take up the science as one of my subjects. Then I moved to, at the age of 9, I moved to one Gurukul, which is a residential school, Andhra Pradesh residential school at that time. So, which is located inside the forest, and the teachers used to live in typical Gurukul system. And the teachers are very well known teachers. So, whenever we talk about teachers, we always remember that the good teachers always inspire you on different aspects. Basically, one good teacher is the one who actually inspires the students. So fortunately, I have very good teachers who inspired me in taking up my science. Though they asked me, "What is your interest in your life? What do you want to become?" So most of the students, as you know, in Andhra Pradesh, they used to say that I want to become doctor or engineer. That is most of the things we do in Andhra Pradesh. But when I said I want to become scientist, there was a lot of question marks, and the teachers they were anxious to know why I want to become scientist. Then I explained, yes, there are few scientists in our family; they are doing good contribution. I wanted to also become the scientist so that you can be a direct influencer on many lives. You can bring in new products and then make the lives more happier and healthier lives. You can get the community to do that. And at that time, one of my teachers in the school, he mentioned in that curriculum, he mentioned that, do you know that the science begins where the religion ends? So that the one which touched my heart. That means you should not become biased to anyone when you are developing a product and passing it to. the community and society. You should think about the larger society or the entire world and humanity at large. Not that I wanted to serve only my particular village or my particular district or state or country. So you are beyond your country and continents. That means you should not have any religious thinkings and barriers in your mind. This touched me a lot. Then with that, I thought, okay, this is where I should start continuing my journey as scientist. So I moved from there, that Gurukulam, then I moved to Andhra Laila College. There also we have it is run by a society of Jesuits, as you know, Laila College. They also taught me a lot of discipline things in life, and they also gave the they also gave me a lot of teachings and then influence to become to reach my goals as a scientist. So they also taught me as the society service to the society and how they can do it, the passion and compassion. These are the two things which I learned from the Loyola College, which are very good to have for a scientist. So if a scientist is having that passion to develop something and to get that thing, that is the passion side, and as a compassion to work to take off the miseries of the people, the communities at large. So these two words which I learned from the Andhra Laila College are also there in my mind: passion and compassion. So I carried that throughout my career of 30, 35 years being a scientist. And then whatever the innovations and inventions I could be part of that, help the community to get rid of or to get protection from the mosquito bites or the diseases like the malaria, dengue, chikungunya, yellow fever, wherever they are there. So whenever I see my products being sold in a retail market or retail shops, either in the smallest village of India or the villages in Brazil or the supermarkets in Australia, that gives me a lot of satisfaction. Yes, there is something which, as a scientist, we are contributing to society.
Great.
So then from there, I moved to Vector Control Research Center, Pondicherry. There, I had the opportunity to join the course of medical entomology, which was started by the World Health Organization. So I was the third batch candidate, and they usually take five candidates from open general category, and then five candidates they take it from the open general category. And other five candidates, they take it from the in-service candidates who are already working for public health departments in various states or the central governments. So that's where I could compete. So here again, one thing which I just wanted to highlight is that I come from a background of small families and teachers, middle class family. My father was a school headmaster, and we had a family of four, three sisters, elder sisters. And then in Andhra Pradesh, there is a problem of the dowry systems and getting the girls to grow up, making them to study. So there is a lot of struggle which you need to get if you are a middle class or lower middle class people. So I came through that journey. So, and also have my studies or basic education in local medium, which is Telugu medium. So when I wrote the entrance examination, which is very tough to get into the medical entomology in Vector Control Research Center, I had this inhibition of, oh, can I get through or not? Because I come from a local medium schools. I'm not an English medium school. When I saw the students who are not talking in high-fly English, having their English novels and big, big textbooks in their hands, a little bit of that confidence and morale of the person was little down. So when we wrote the exam and then the results were announced on the same day, they announced the results on the same day of the exam. So I was All India rank sixth, so which is commendable performance. So one message which I got through that is just never underestimate your knowledge or power. So this is the lesson which I learned from there. Of course, I joined there. Then for first time, I came to know what is medical entomology. Even that I was not even fully aware what is medical entomology does. Then I attended the first class, the first session by Professor Dr. P.K. Rajgopal. He is also a Padma. Shri Award winner, and he is well reputed, well recognized worldwide. And he is the one who found out the life cycle, epidemiological life cycle of Kaisnur forest disease. Is a brilliant scientist, to the core scientist and core field scientist, well committed. When he came to the class, he's like a lion. So he talks with an aggression and with a passion of knowledge and science. And I studied in US and studied in good schools. So with his fluent English and commendable English, he was talking in the class, and it was mesmerizing. And this is what the role of good teachers plays in the career of scientists or career of individual students. Is very, very important to have a good teachers and good guides. So this is one time, again, I felt that from the Gurukulam, from the Laila College to the Vector Control Center in Pondicherry, I am fortunate, to have one of the best teachers who can actually mold and motivate each individual. So they understood what are the weaknesses of this particular student and the strengths of particular student. They started mentoring. So this is what is very important, that mentoring at every stage of life is very, very critical. Even in the corporate life, becoming the scientist in the corporate life, I have my own teams where I handled. So there I recognized, because I have good mentoring, I started doing the mentoring of the candidates, whomever I recruited. They all started learning and then started getting very good, excellent results, and they started growing in the career. This is what gives utmost satisfaction for scientists. The scientists, one thing which I noticed in my life or in my career is that scientists never look for money or any of things. They only look for the satisfaction and accolades. That's why we have Nobel prizes for the scientists, right? Because we don't have any Nobel prizes for the richest man in the world, right? So the money and other things, that's not honored. So the scientists are basically recognized. They need recognition. They need the passion. They need that type of accolades. They need that compassion. They need that satisfaction in their hearts. Then they can progress. This is one thing which I realized very early in my career, and I started giving due recognition to the group team members. This is what I have seen in my career. The other thing which I learned in my days in Vector Control Research Center, that there I had the fortunate enough to have very young teachers and scientists who were used to come and teach us from different subjects, be it epidemiology, be it product development chemistry, be it genetics, be it insect physiology or morphology or diseases like malaria, dengue, chikungunya, Japanese encephalitis, or KFD, or you name all the schistosomiasis, plague, all these vector-borne diseases or arthropod-borne diseases. They're all experts. They are the field scientists. So they are young. So there I have seen when the scientists are interacting with each other in the organization, they don't have that hierarchical system, because Dr. P.K. Rajagopal, a person of that stature, coming to a small scientist of, scientist B or scientist A, who are at level, they are coming to the rooms and sitting with them and discussing of the problems. Then I realized that for scientists, there is no seniority, junior scientist, senior scientist, or middle scientist. This type of levels of scientists are is only for administrative purpose. That's good. So, but as a scientist, he's a scientist because he has got the ideas and innovation ideas. So, for his brain, a scientist is a scientist, whether it is experience or not experience. So, that type of leverage and that type of recognition, that type of identification, which I got it from Vector Control Research Center. These are the lessons which you have to pick up and try to inculcate or try to administer or try to practice in during your career of as a scientist. That's the soft skills which I would say. You might be good as subject because that comes from your studies as you read or you do experiments. The hands-on experiment, when you go to the field, you observe it, and then you see the lessons there. You learn from there. But the other things, other parts of the things which are like a soft skills, are the things which you need to capture and then try to practice in your career, whether you are in corporate, whether you are in as a scientist in government jobs, in the laboratories, or in the universities as you are teaching. These are the things which will help. So when I joined the companies like Reckitt Benckiser, and being the head of the global R&D center for Mortein brand or the pest control brand, I gave freedom to all the scientists. I did not distinguish between a junior scientist or a fresher or a new one. So I gave them the open ideas. Whenever somebody comes with new ideas, there is no bad idea. So we used to bring out and discuss about that idea and start building upon putting our inputs from different aspects because each one comes with a different perspective, their backgrounds, their knowledge, their experience. So these things we used to club together and then start developing using our knowledge in product development or getting the new claims for the products because we are in commercial organizations. We need to sell the products with some claims, so this claim generation, these things are very, very critical when you are open and give all the scientists same platform to discuss and then develop the ideas. So this is how the progress happened. So slowly, slowly, when you are growing up in the career, so these are the small, small uh, things which you need to pick up and then absorb and then do it. So one thing, Dr. Raja, what I have observed is that we need to have that passion.
Mm-hmm.
Without passion, you cannot succeed as a scientist. So if you don't have the passion, it's not the job for a person to be a scientist, good scientist. Okay, you can be a scientist in some routine jobs, maybe some fields. You can be still working inside the four walls and then do a routine template jobs. That's there. You can be called as a scientist. But if you wanted to have a scientist to really contribute to society, either for their well-being or for their health or well-being, you need to have this passion. So that is what is very, very important. This is what I
Ab-
learned and practiced all through my career.
Absolutely. So when after the masters, you said that at age of 9 you knew that you want to become a scientist. That PhD was the immediate next move, or you thought before committing to it?
Uh, yes, since I thought that I need to be a scientist at the age of 9, my career path was like that. So when I was doing MSc itself, so I started applying for a PhD admissions. And fortunately or unfortunately, this we have the CSAR gate exams, like where you have these entrance exams for PhD. Since we studied MSc in medical entomology, this is very, very specialized courses. So we are taught about insect biology, mostly about the public health insects and their biology, epidemiology, diseases. So it was very, very difficult to get into that course to pass through the exams. So very few candidates coming out of medical entomology could crack that exam because they have the background knowledge and from the graduation they might have studied some subjects. So that's how they could get it. But for me at that time, it was very tough to get into. But fortunately, we have another teacher who also a Padma Vibhushan awardee, Dr. VP Sharma, whom I have huge respects. He was at that time he was the director of Malaria Research Center. Now it is NIMR, National Institute of Malaria Research, based in Delhi. So he was one of our teachers who used to be the visiting faculty for Vector Control Research Center. I think he identified some of the students, and he gave a fellowship to be like his students. So from his project funds, he gave the fellowship. So he was kind enough to give that amount to run the PhD program. So I joined the National Institute of Malaria Research Center as a PhD candidate. And interestingly, from there, I was one of the first PhD candidates to work on remote sensing. So
Hmm.
using the satellites data, satellite remote sensing data to map the entire India for mosquitogenic conditions. So we see the data is analyzed so that we see the larger mosquitogenic conditions, entire India, or some maps, some districts or some states we can take, and then we start mapping the areas and grade them based on the proliferation of mosquitoes and then the seasonality and all this stuff. It was again a challenge for a biology student to talk about remote sensing and the satellites and the thing. Then I went and discussed with Dr. VP Sharma sir that this I'm from a background of botany or zoology from the graduation and then medical entomology and everything. How can I handle this program? Then he gave me a lot of tips. He said that there's nothing, as a scientist, you should not say no. As a scientist, you should have a multifaceted, multi-oriented. You should know about chemistry, you should know about physics, you should know about biology, you should know about no mathematics. You should be have the little knowledge about everything. Of course, as you go deep, you need to have specialized in the subject. So he gave me very good eyesight. They saying that as you go deeper and deeper into the science, as a scientist, there's no distinction between science, mathematics, or physics, or chemistry, or biochemistry. They all club together. You need to have the understanding of all the subjects. I think that's one good input which he has given to me. That helped me a lot to go into the Indian Space Research Organization to undergo a special course, postgraduate certificate course, a diploma course in remote sensing. I did it two certificate courses in remote sensing, one from Bangalore, the other one from Indian Institute of Remote Sensing in Dehradun. So that helped me a lot to analyze the data. That gave me a confidence. Yes, we can handle as a biology. So as you grow up, then you can club together the biology and no engineering or science together. So that helps. So that's why we have the new branches of subjects like bioengineering, chemistry for biology, biochemistry, right? So this type of new branches of sciences evolve when you have this openness to learn and unlearn things. So this is one a tip or one inspiration which I received when I started doing this Indian Institute of Remote Sensing course in remote sensing. So I came back and then I started doing this work. And unfortunately, then I have to leave it in between because of the technical problems in the satellites and then the information which I need to get this information. And because of that, I had to leave. Then I left the National Institute of Malaria Research and Dr. V.P. Sharma's guidance. Then I joined Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, IICT, under another Padma Vibhushan, Dr. A.V. Ramarao. He's very well-known synthetic chemist who is credited with developing anti-cancer drug, one of the anti-cancer drugs, vinblastine and vincristine. So he synthesized this drug in a shorter way and made it available at a much, much cheaper rate than the currently, at that time, currently available price of this particular drug in the market. So this is also one thing which also inspired me. So it's not only science is not only about developing new products, but it's
Mhm.
also as a scientist we can also modify and then do something where we can reduce the number of steps in development product development and make it more cheaper so that it is cheaper is not right word, so it's more cost
Effective.
economical, and so make it more cost economical so that each and every individual in the society gets benefited.
Yes.
So this is how later in my career I started developing a mosquito paper,
Mhm.
which you burn the paper and then all the mosquitoes will fall down. This is one of the most economical mosquito control products in the market. So I was
Mhm.
very much involved in developing that project and launching that project when I was working for Ricket Benkis R&D Center. So this actually comes from the background of my teachers inspiring with wind blast and wind crystal synthesis, Dr. A.V. Ramarao, Professor A.V. Ramarao. So there IICT I joined. Then I joined in toxicology lab. So
Mhm.
toxicology job again, animal toxicology lab under Dr. J. Venkateshwar Rao. He's the toxicology head at that time. So I joined under him in toxicology lab. So it's entirely different subject again. The animal toxicology, they were doing a lot of drugs and pesticides, giving it to the animals and checking all the six packs and acute and subacute chronic toxicity and all things. That's also again a new subject for me, coming from the invertebrate biology to to the vertebrate biology. Again, I started learning new things. So as long as you're open to learn new things, you are sharpening your skills. So I talked about this animal biology. Then I was learning whenever I have free time. I was going along with my co-PhD graduates, and they're teaching me how to inject the chemicals to the drugs to the animals, inhalation toxicity, and all this stuff. Besides that, I was also doing my rearing of insects. So that's time when I started rearing insects and realized how tough is rearing an insect, because it is like growing a child. You have to feed them. You have to get them into good numbers. So, and then healthy numbers. When you are doing bioefficacies, you need to have the healthy insects and especially age. And this is one of the toughest time to rear insects on our own. So this is again, I learned the thing of passion came into
Mm-hmm.
my role, saying that if you don't have the passion, you cannot maintain insect cultures. Because collecting the pupae or getting them segregation, putting them inside, giving them animal feed as a blood meal to the insects, and then get cleaning them, keeping them in good environment without any infections like fungal infections or bacterial infections for the insects, and then no physical uh, animals which are coming, predatory animals like spiders and lizards should not be there in the insectaries, maintaining the temperatures. This all requires a lot of time. And as a PhD students, you are supposed to do them on your own because you
Mm-hmm.
are owning that project and you have your own liability to do your own work in a stipulated time as you are receiving your scholarship. There's a tenure for scholarship, so that pressure will be there. So you need to handle them on your own. This is where I need to go every Saturday or Sunday, irrespective whether it's raining or it's a hot sun or it is strike in the streets. So those things are no excuses. So we need to
Absolutely.
come, and then whether it's 5 o'clock, so that's why I used to go in the 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning to finish off the work, and then be ready at 9 o'clock to be with your boss or with your guide, so that whatever the guide guides you, so that you can save the time. So this is how you can plan your experiments or your day, so that you can get the maximum benefit of your working hours. So I used to come early morning, 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, do my all work of preparing myself with all insects and other things, count the insects for bioefficacies, then talk to your boss. I'm going to do this. This is the protocol. Are you okay with this or not? So do you have any suggestions or not? Then he gives. At that time, Dr. J.V. Rao, who used to be my guide, he gave me one thing. Anil, please remember one thing. Please spend more time in sharpening your axe before cutting your tree. So if you spend more time in sharpening your axe, it is easy to cut the tree.
Yes.
So this is the one thing which I learned from him throughout my life. I spend more time on design of experiments than that actually doing the time
Mm-hmm.
of experiments. This is one thing also I would always say to my colleagues or my juniors who wanted to succeed in things, spend more time on sharpening your axe, spend
Yes.
more time in preparation work, spend more time on designing the experiment, get it vetted through the experts or get it vetted by your colleagues or whoever you trust, and then start the experiment. Once you start the experiment, there's no looking for the chemicals going back and forth. Then it basically demotivates you. Once you are have the failed experiments continuously, then slowly that depression comes into it or demotivation comes in. Why I joined this? Why should not? I should leave this. So this type of thing should never ever come. To avoid that, you need to sharpen your axe first. So you need to design the experiments very well. So this is one lesson which I learned through my immediate boss, Dr. J.V. Rao.
Absolutely. So, like you just touched one of the most sensitive these days, like the depression coming in. When you did PhD, probably that was not the one of the most talked, or like people were not paying enough attention to that. But now at this stage, when we hear PhD students dropping out after 3, 4, 5, 6 years sometime, and then now in this, like what we say in the serious event, when a PhD scholar commits suicide,
Yes,
probably they
unfortunately.
are not, like, based on your experience, because as you mentioned about sharpening the axe, it is very important. How do you develop your project? What are the mentoring available to you, either your peer mentor or someone in collaboration, or the people who you can actually talk to, based on your experience, how you can guide to a student who's going through that tough phase right now, and watching your conversation, like what they can, how they can get it better.
Oh, this is nice thing. Thanks for raising this point. So there are two things which I think is we have a lot of noise. When you have a lot of noise around, go into the poise.
Oh, nice.
So to avoid noise, step back, give a pause. So this I learned when I was undergoing accidental, in the laboratories when there is spillage of chemicals and other things, we get the training programs how to have the first aid programs. So in first aid programs, with the spillage, one person becomes unconscious or when he's there with the chemicals intoxication or chemical fumes around him and he's on the ground, the first thing what is being taught to us as a first aiders is that remove the person who is having the contamination of the pesticides or chemicals away from that place and put them in a place where is in a cleaner place. Then you do the first aid, whatever you want, take the next steps. So first thing is take the person from the noise to a clean place. This is the lesson which I learned, observed and learned. When you are in problems, when you are confused, come out of that particular season, give pause, then pause, then rethink it, sit back, take a break, go away from the situation. If you are working, say, for example, if you are in the Delhi, if you are working in the lab of Delhi, go away from the Delhi. Go to some other city like Hyderabad or you go to Bombay or you go to Goa, have complete break. No gadgets, nothing. Sit, relax, sit into the mountains. If you like mountains, you go into the mountains. You go if you like the sea beaches, go to sea beaches. If you like forest, you go to forest. If you are wanted to be in midst of family members, go to a family members or go to a wedding, come back again. That helps a lot. This is what I learned when big problems are big. This also I also practiced in corporate life. When you are in a corporate life, we have a lot of pressures. Being a scientist, we are always systematic. When you have what all these things. But when you are coming to the corporate, especially in FMCG things, the things will change dynamically because these
Mhm.
are FMCG companies. So the decisions will change. In the boardroom itself, a lot of decisions will change. Investment will come. No decisions will be there when you are sitting with senior people. When you are under stress, what I used to take is I used to take the bio break. Just go
Mhm.
to restroom or you take a coffee break or a tea break, have a coffee 5 minutes, 10 minutes, come back again with fresh thoughts, and then be part of the entire discussions. Then you put forward your thoughts in a more balanced and poised way. So this helps in the entire career. Whenever your student is under depression or he wants to not liking the project or not is under too much of stress, have this poise to go away from the noise. So as I went through this thing, and I started my spiritual journey.
Mhm.
So you are aware that for the last 15 years I started doing a meditation practice, which is known as heartfulness practice, heartfulness meditation. So this helped me a lot to become a calmer person. So I
Mhm.
used to be little more aggressive. So I used to be passively aggressive person. So I never used to show my aggressiveness in my face, but I used to have this aggressiveness in this. I need to get it. I need to find a solution for this problem. Why I'm not able to do this on time or something. This type of passive aggressiveness used to come. And this used to take a bit of toll on my health or no, when you are stressed, your BP will increase or your sugar levels will go up. Whatever it is, it helps, it deteriorates your health. You get headaches, say, so for example, sometimes you are under stress. So this practicing the spirituality, doing the meditation, basically a 20 minutes meditation in the morning and the evening, a little bit of meditation while going to bed, helped me a lot. It helped me a lot in putting my thoughts in a very concrete and giving the direction, listening to your heart, and whatever your heart says, whether it's right or wrong. Because in science, there is a standard line. Science says that it is always true or fact till it is proven wrong.
Mhm.
Right? That is what the scientist or science says to us. The earth is flat till it is proven wrong that it is round. right? This is just I'm giving an example. So as long as something is proven wrong, that is fact. So this is to be there in my mind. So whenever you are thinking something, whatever your heart says or mind says, go it, do it. Right? You can hear, you can take the inputs from others, but the final decision should be yours because you are the owner of whatever you are doing. So here, one good teaching or which I learned from my spiritual guide. He's also a Padma Vibhushan awardee, Dr. Kamalesh D. Patel, who is our spiritual guide, global spiritual guide based out of Hyderabad, Kanha Shantivanam. He's the global guide of heartfulness movement. He says, design your own destiny. So you are the experiment, you are the experimenter, and you are the outcome. So I repeat again,
Mhm.
design your own destiny. You are the experiment, you are the experimenter, and you are the outcome.
Nice.
So profound, right? So whatever you do it, you have to take that. That's what in Sanatan Dharma, Hindu mythology, we call them as karmas, right? So that's all what you do is that is the takings what you have to do it. That is your karma. That's so you are responsible for your karmas. So whatever, then you have to bear it. So you are the experiment, you are the experimenter, and you are the outcome of it. So that means in corporate language, lingo, what you say that ownership. So they call it
Mm-hmm.
as core values of ownership. That's what it is. So you are the owner of what you are doing. You take the ownership. So once you take the ownership, that tests as I am there, ownership for your work or ownership for your team. Even if team is not performing well, you have to stand in front and then say that the team failed, right? Not individual fails. This is a team failure. So this is what exactly the Dr. Kalam also told once, right?
Mm-hmm.
His boss took the failure of Dr. Kalam on his onus, right? And then he stood by it. So that's the what as a scientist we all learn. This is what spirituality teaches us as a science, as to the scientist. This is the other side of it, which helped me a lot to make my thoughts very clear in organized way. Right? When you have the clutter, you will not be able to achieve anything. It's like a traffic on the road and most of Indian roads, right? So when you are there like this, it will happens. So this is also again I learned from the entomology, like ants. When the ants are going in this one single line, the movement is very, very fast. Like the termites go in one single line, right? The movement will be very fast. So in the roads also, when you learn from them, when you go in a single line, there's no traffic jams. So there are a lot of things like this which we learn from the nature or from our teachers or from our peers, which help as a scientist to have a greater path and a good path so that we can achieve our goals.
Absolutely. And this brings us to the next point that when you have mentors like this, as you mentioned, throughout your life, you had mentors who helped you. Now, when you move to the mentorship role, you mentioned that you are there standing with your teams, uh, giving them sense of accomplishment, celebrating whatever the thing is, and whenever it fails, it is a failure of a team as whole, not an individual. People see that we researchers are still in so much working in the silos, like although thank you for all this new technology that you can have conversations all around the globe at the same time, okay, but still what we see that a PhD student or a early faculty, early career faculty researcher scientist, when they start their lab or their journey, they somehow find themselves in these small potholes. They forget at that point of time that how important it is to network, because you might be the best for one skill set, and in today's world when people do interdisciplinary science, so an astronaut is coming to a biologist, and then a chemist is coming all together and bringing something new. Development, as you mentioned, developing a product is not one of the easiest thing, because it gives you satisfaction, yes, but the journey to bring those products in different, you mentioned in Africa, in Australia, the shelves have those products now, probably not very few people know the journey behind that, that what
Mm.
you all have to go through to put those products on those shelves. So if you can share some of that with the entrepreneurial brain researchers, because now we are seeing that PhD students, just after completing their PhD or even during their PhD, they are starting up like new startups or collaborations with that. So how they should approach it.
No, excellent, Dr. Raja. As you mentioned, this networking is very, very important. So we say in corporate lingo, network is net worth.
Mhm.
So when you have so much of people around, it helped me a lot also in whenever I'm going through interviews for my further career growth. People are asking, okay, I know this guy, I know that, I know this one person in this company, I know this person in government of India or MOH or wherever it is. I know this IAS officer or I know this administrative guys. So people were taken back. So not only as a scientist, they were not expecting that I am in four walls, right? So when they realized that I have the connections all across, it was very easy cakewalk. So this is very, very important lesson or an important point which I learned early in my career. And I started developing the network as I was sharpening the axe because it's also my idea that I should, after my retirement, I should start a consultancy, technical consultancy. So that it's not that I don't, I wanted to earn money, but because whatever I learned in the corporate life, I'm one of the few medical entomologists who entered into the corporate life at that
Mhm.
time. So I'm the one of the first medical entomologists, rather, I can say, who entered in a corporate scenario. So I know what type of journey I have passed through. It's very, very hard to get survived coming from the background of pure medical entomology without having the knowledge about marketing. So as the process, as the years are passing, has learned about marketing and a lot of techniques, insights about marketing, how what consumers require. And at one stage, I received an award for marketing, the best marketing product. So this is what you have to achieve. Whether if people still think sometimes they still think I'm a marketing guy, right, without knowing what it is. So I can so confidently I can talk about the consumer insights, about what type of consumers, what they like, need gap analysis or SWOT analysis, and all this type of basic knowledge about marketing we should have. Once you think if you wanted to be entrepreneurial or you wanted to start a consultancy job. So one thing is your network. In all fields, you need to have the good network. So what I used to do is at least once, if I don't have time to touch base with all people, at least once in a year, either on the occasion of their birthdays or on the occasion of their marriage anniversaries or on the occasion of their child's birthdays or anything, wish them once. Or at least one thing which I also meticulously do, still carry my list of things is New Year greetings list. So I keep meticulously the list and then keep sending the New Year wishes, everything for all festivals, all Christmas, say for example, or even Ramjan greetings or Diwali greetings. So send them at least one greeting so that you have this networking people are in touch with you, or at least they remember us, these guys are there, right? This is very, very important. The second thing, what you need to have as entrepreneurial thing is you have the ability to take the challenges. So when the challenges comes in the market, because you are on your own, you are invested some amount of money, and you are like a fish in the water there, along with other fishes. So you need to be like the colorful fish among the fishes so that you are identified. So in marketing, we always say that be like orange in apples, right? So either you differentiate or you die. So you need to have that differentiation among the group because the crowd outside is very, very noise, right? You need to have that specific identity or you have that USPs, right? Either your technical skills or your communication skills or your passion or your ability to get business and then give back to the society. So one of these characteristics should have this highlight. Then only you can survive as an entrepreneur. What is it that which is differentiating you between the other guys? This is what you need to identify first, and then sharpen that particular skill so that you become good uh, entrepreneur or the business good business model in that. Right? You need to also identify the need gaps in the consumer. What is the consumer requires? What is that which is missing in the society, or which is what is there, which is not there? Then you address that. When you try to address that, then you definitely will become successful. And while doing this journey, you might have a lot of speed breakers and then stones pelted at you, and convert the stones into building or wall. What is it? They say it. Throw the some people throw the bricks. You use those bricks to construct your wall, right? So use them as a positive sign. So this is what you need to do. It is not easy to practice in life because you have a lot of pressures. You have family, you have education, you have loans, you have to peer pressure. You have that ambition to grow faster. But give the time, right? Give the time to for the fruit to ripe. This is what my one of my mentors in marketing said. Give the sufficient time to if you pluck the mangoes early and then put your chemical to ripe it, the taste will be different. When the
Mhm.
mango gets almost ripened and you pluck it and you eat, there's a different taste, right? Right. So give that time. Don't be so aggressive to achieve faster. That faster may not lead. Sometimes it's good to be faster and aggressive, but give the time. So what I say that again, sharpen the axe
Mhm.
as you progress in a business, right? So this is what it is. Things, and whatever I learned during my careers in marketing or sales or product development, quality assurance. You talk about anything, labeling, regulatory affairs. What is one thing which generally most of the people miss out is regulatory affairs. So because you develop a product, finally you realize that the country regulatory affairs may not accept or may not accept the data or allow the product to launch in the market. So you need to be very very cautious about that. These are the things which you need to start doing before the product development starts. So the regulatory affairs is one thing which you also should learn. Then environmental impacts, and then the pollution controls. There are a lot of other things which you need to understand and learn before you start your business. So these are the things by fortunate by working with Bayer Environmental Science, NVU, and Reckitt Benckiser. I learned these things, and of course with my other colleagues from other industries. So I learned these things, and then the progress is starting. So it was easy cakewalk for me when I started. So immediately, within 1 month, I started my own consultancy after my retirement. The day 1 month, just it took only 1 month. Of course, it takes about few months to get your licensing approvals, commercial approvals, government approvals, and other things. That's fine. But I was ready already to start my own consultancy, where I have to do, which activities I have to do. So this is how the journey should be taken. So then you will have less stress.
Mhm. Absolutely. And we do talk about stress in these conversations, that it is impossible not only for researcher but for any human being on this earth to not have stress at some point of their time. Okay. What we try through these conversation is like having acute stress at times, like if there is a manuscript revision, if there is a submission deadline for a project, if you're submitting for funding. These are the times when you can actually have that stress, utilize it positively, and meet your deadlines. But
Yes.
you cannot be stressed more than 300 days in a year. If that is what you are going through, probably this is not one of the place you should belong. You
Yeah.
should move out of that. Yes.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So in this context, when you are talking about stress, so in spirituality, they also teach about the stress. Of course, this is a psychology related thing. In psychology, also, is there stress is of two types. One is eustress, and then one is distress. Right? Eustress, which is a good stress, which you need to have. Like as you rightly mentioned, a stress which is there just before the exams is a stress which is required. Because if you don't have that stress, you will not be able to write exams and do well in that exam. That is what is eustress. And just imagine a person going to a carnival, and he needs to take that wheel, not that big wheel, giant wheel. Just before climbing the wheel, you have the stress. So what happens? Once you climb that wheel and reach on the top, then you have a good stress, which is we call it eustress, right? So you enjoy from there, seeing the entire village or town or the lights and or whatever it is. That is a good stress. Then again, so this is always there. So take that into that. So there is good stress and there is a distress or bad stress. So identify that. Don't be in that bad stress for a long time. Try to avoid it. So for avoiding that, there are a lot of ways, and spirituality and doing meditation is one of the ways which I usually practice, and it helped me a lot. When you're distressed, just give a pause and do 5 minutes or express meditation, say for example. As nowadays we have a lot of express delivery systems and other things. This is also an express meditation systems where you can do it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just give pause and think and sit, relax, keep yourself calm, and then come back. So, as rightly mentioned, have it in a moderation.
Absolutely.
This is
And
good.
also, like what we say about, like you mentioned about this taking, I like specifically like noise to pause. Just take this pause. We said like rejuvenation is so important. Like, and everyone has their own way. Somebody might be get rejuvenated after visiting mountains, forests, visiting their family, spending some time with friends, whatever makes you recharged, where all the negativity is gone. And then now, because for all of this, what is the first basic requirement is your passion for what you do.
Yes.
Whatever you do, if that makes you happy, there is no way you will not find out the 100 ways to achieve your goal.
Yes.
We always say that the winners never give excuses that, oh, I
Yes.
won because of that. No, they won because they chose not to give up. They were
Yes.
doing everything, identifying where they lagged, what was the reason for the failure. And in researcher terms, we always say this is troubleshooting. If something did
Yes.
not work, there has to be a way how we can make it work.
Yes.
So, based on your
Absolutely.
experience, now we are heading towards the edge of the interview. So, I would like to ask your opinion about the things like, or let's say about the environment, research environment, how it has changed in past 3 decades, and what you can suggest the newcomers in research now, how they should prepare themselves.
Yeah, that's a very nice question. So in this change, there's a lot of changes happened in last 30 years. And especially one thing which I very clearly see is the advent of the technologies. So be it AI, be it the laptops, or be it whatever all technologies we have. So I still remember when I started my research, either in MSc dissertation or the PhD work, I used to spend a huge amount of time in the libraries. Not one library, different libraries. I used to have, fortunate to have good libraries in IICT. And I used to go to Osmania University Library, Chemistry Department, Departmental Libraries, in other libraries, and also write the cards, foreign mails to get for the abstract papers that come, don't come by the time it comes. It's a huge talk and no time spending on that. And manually typing, on typewriters, then dot matrix printers, and that's 386 Pentium laptops, no, not laptops, the hard disk computers. Then that's one thing which tremendously changed. So there are a lot of tools now available. So now the students are not required to go to the libraries. They have everything on their palms, in the terms of mobiles or whatever it is, laptops and palm tops and all this stuff. And this is one way is good. So the suggestion here is that, well, since you got a lot of time, which you save a lot of time, use it for your work, right?
Mhm.
So that's why all this food delivery system. So there, somebody is cooking for you, so you have the time. So use that time judiciously for your work. Either you spend time with your family, or you do it your passion. You do something else. So this is one thing which I would just wanted to suggest. In terms of the way of working and then doing work, it has now become very easy, because if you want to get any chemical or any product, anything which you want to get, it is very, very easy. You want to find any source of products, you want to just Google it, and then you know the list of people who are suppliers. They come back, and then so the quality, with all this equipment and with all this knowledge available, the quality of the work should get improved,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is one milestone which we need to reach. So we need to say that, particularly in India, what usually I am observing is that the quantity is increasing, but the quality needs to also improve,
Yes.
right? We have seen number of papers publishing are increasing definitely,
Mm-hmm.
and but the quality we need to have more and more, so which needs to be looked up by the administrators or the professors and teachers and over there. That's one point which is noticeable, which is also in the medium. And then the students who want to take the operational research are coming down. So now people are more and more, and students are doing more lab work and laptop work,
Mm-hmm.
and very few people are going into the fields,
Mm-hmm.
like the epidemiology work, or the disease intervention work, or the impact of, say for example, bed nets on the influence of malaria, or the dynamics of vectors. I'm just giving my field of work, or the efficacy of particular product which is developed in the lab, how it is working in the field, say for example. So lab to land, that land part is missing more with the students in who are taking a PhD. So that can be also part of the PhD work.
Mm-hmm.
And universities, like especially the agriculture universities or veterinary universities or the CSR laboratories, should also encourage the students to take up the field work, operational work, so that there is a balance between the basic work as well as operational work. I'm not saying this basic work is bad. There should be a balance. Now, if you
Yes.
are doing more of basic work, if somebody finds a new product, what is the use if the product is not coming to the market?
Yes.
Right? So that is what is required. That is what is missing nowadays. Is slowly going down the operational work. There are some challenges why people are not taking. So we need to identify the challenges, because now we can take a one separate session on that. What are the
Mhm.
challenges? How we can break? But people should identify and then address them. Address them. So this is, I think, broadly what I'm seeing over the last 3 decades, the changes. And of course, we have investment. There are a lot of people who are investing, and then the government investment is there, the universities in investments funds are there, there is a PPP, public private partnership is there. There are a lot of private companies who are investing in R&D and helping the PhD student to get their PhD as well as their products done in the
Mhm.
laboratories. So this collaboration work between the industries and the universities is also increasing nowadays. Earlier it was not there, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So the industry is inverting, so take advantage of that and
Mhm.
select your topic based on that, talk to them, have that confidence to discuss, and then work on more operational work, so that you can contribute to the society at large, and then have this respect of the scientist.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a pleasure having you at this platform and sharing your journey. And all, I will say more of the enlightening words about spirituality, taking terms. You brought these different aspects of researchers in academia, in FMCGs, and then being an entrepreneur. All this journey, that how a kid who at the age of 9 thought I want to become a scientist, be- been scientist for all these different agencies, and then now training new generation of scientists. All of that, you lived the life you wanted to. And one of the conversations, like the one of the message from these conversations, what we want to share with our researchers is, do whatever makes you happy. There might be, there will be the burnouts depending on your thing, but then you will improve as a person, as a researcher also. And then there will be days, either take the example of meditation or spirituality, when you cannot sit for 1 minute, There will be days after practicing that you can sit for hours in that asana, or those things. With this, we'll say to all our audience that if you want to write to Dr. Anil, you can find him. If you want Empowering Science Foundation or STEM for Society to help you to peer with our researcher celebrities, we are there to help you. The only thing what we ask from you is the passion. If research is what makes you happy, we are there to help you. Thank you so much, Dr. Anil.
Definitely, and I take this opportunity to thank all my teachers, all my mentors and family members, and all my colleagues and whoever is there, so who are in touch with me, either directly or indirectly, for making me who I am there today as in front of you. So I thank. So as I mentioned, gratitude is the one which takes you to altitudes. So always have this gratitude. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Apne
Anil. And
pranams.
at the end, I would like to say one more thing. The people who have heard this till now, there was a name called Professor P.K. Rajagopalan. He has been our researcher celebrity. The video is there. He's no more with us in this life. But his soul, his wordings, go for that video and see what he has done. And then you will probably able to understand when Dr. Anil said that he talked like a lion, he lived like a lion.
Yes.
With this, we'll say
Yes, definitely. Yes.
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Again, thanks to all my teachers and my family members, my parents, everyone who influenced me and touched my life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Stay tuned for another episode of Researcher Celebrity and enjoy your research in the meantime.